What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Idiots. Again, we talked a little bit about we're going to be pumping out a lot more content. First of all, we just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you believe in. In
Or don't believe.
in 2025, it's probably only going to be Christmas. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get down the rabbit hole, but once again, my name is Kenny, with my great co-host, Wes, aka Metro. What's up, Wes? How are you doing today?
What's going on, everyone? For those who don't know who I am, my name is Wes, aka Metro.
I know who
Man,
you
we're
are
just,
by
as
now.
I said, welcome to today's episode. As my boy Kenny said, we're gonna try to really be pumping out content, man. We'd love for you guys to, comment for the algorithm, like, subscribe, all that. Unfiltered Idiots podcast can be a great source for everyone. We're trying to provide, true, honest, objective opinions. Yes, we are lefties when it comes to, like, economics. Yes, we want what things sounds like logical things like Medicare for all and proper wages, so we don't have 700,000 homeless people. I mean, I think that sounds logical, guys. So that's the kind of shit that we're trying to pump out, and none of this crap. We don't talk to advertisers. We're not going to have billionaires backing us like Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, all these clowns. That's not what we're about. So we're not going to be doing that.
Yeah, so as you talked about, Wes, we've had a couple of things that are going on in Colorado recently, and it's more around the invasion of the Venezuelans. I think that you wanted to speak a little bit about. Did I lose you, Wes? Did I lose you? Oh my God! This is a live show, guys.
Live shows, live shows. My bad. Do you hear me?
He
That's
didn't turn,
weird.
he didn't turn on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, live
Anyways,
shows, guys.
unfiltered idiots.
Unfiltered.
We're two unfiltered
Unfiltered.
idiots. But no, let's talk about eating the dogs, eating the cats here in Colorado. I know that we're kind of a little bit behind on it, but I have an interesting view on it because I actually work in the multifamily industry, and talk a little bit about what you wanted to say with that.
Well, really, that's what I wanted you to kind of to start highlighting first and foremost, so that people understand what your background is, so that they understand that truly you are an expert of,
Yeah.
this in this world, right? That what had happened with this whole situation was back over the summer, there was a company called CBZ who, for many, many years, right? The Aurora, city of Aurora, the Arapahoe County, as well as Denver, a lot of their properties are right on the borderline of Denver and Aurora. For those of you who don't know, the Denver metro layout, Aurora is a suburb of Denver. These properties are like right on, like there's a street that divides Aurora and Denver.
Mhm.
Literally right on the edge. They have properties on both sides. So what's been happening is these people are slumlords. They're letting these properties be completely run down, just not taking care of them. They're deliberately, obviously these are low income areas, very, very poor areas. And for years, both of those cities and the counties, right, that are right there, have been going through all the processes. And again, this is something Kenny will explain to you guys a little bit further, of, forcing them to take care of their properties, forcing them to, be good, landlords, right, to their tenants. And they did not do that. And over the several years now, this has been going on for years. Again, Kenny will be able to probably tell you a little bit more about this, but the process is not like, hey, take care of your tenants, and like the next day they can snap
Right.
their fingers. They have to file like paperwork and this, and then it becomes like an actual, public attorney, a DA, whatever, right? Like, they start going down that pathway to, force these landlords, like what the world that Kenny's in, right? Big companies, to take care of their tenants, right?
Yeah.
So these all started happening over like the beginning of the summer, where they were losing these lawsuits, right? And the city, the counties, et cetera, the judges gave the victories, saying, hey, you guys now have to provide housing, whether that's putting these people in hotels, another place in the general area that you guys might control, that's not, fucked up beyond belief.
Yeah.
And they start saying, oh, we're gonna take this narrative because we're already shitty company slumlords
Yeah.
and use the, influctuation of Venezuelan people that have been coming into Denver, which
Right.
has been a problem. Like people are coming here from other countries. We'll talk about that after we explain what happened and the causation of that. But yeah, so they started using that narrative. Then Trump and all the, most of the Republicans, I won't say all, a good majority of them started running with that narrative
Yeah.
because again, it fit, political guidelines. And by all means, there's Democrats on the left that were trying to not let those things like
Yeah.
the actual real problem of immigration be
Yeah.
like a big thing as well because they don't want that to look bad on them. But again,
So
both sides were, trying to play games, but the Republicans made some outlandish statements that like Venezuelan gangs were taking over Aurora complexes and I mean everybody from the judges, the mayors, the Aurora Police Department, the Denver Police Department, all of them put out official statements saying that is not true. Their problem
so
was this CBZ company that are
yeah.
slumlords, and they just kept running with it and running with it.
So,
So
so as you know, Wes, I've been in this industry for 23 years. I oversee over 2,500 units in Colorado. Um, Colorado probably, I would say in 17 and 18, 2017 and 18 became a haven for smaller investment companies to buy up older apartment communities and kind of renovate them, right? And so we fast forward to 2020 and then now to 2024. It is now a renter friendly state. We follow a ton of guidelines, like literally a resident can submit a warrant of habitability to us, and we have to follow those things. So when this whole thing came down, it was really shocking to me because I had the opportunity to research this company. They have 2 apartment communities here in Colorado, and then they have 3 or 4 in different other states. And they're small companies. Now, I work for a multi-billion-dollar company, right? So we don't have the opportunity to be slumlords, but these are isolated incidents, right? And when I tell you Aurora, Colorado, and Denver, they don't play around when it comes to um, living standards, right? So we get, especially in Aurora, we get biannual inspections, unit inspections. We get, all kinds of inspectors coming in left and right. Denver's the same way. This is a isolated incident, and I think that what they did is they gave them an opportunity to correct these issues, but they didn't have the capital behind it because they were a smaller company, right? So I'm not saying that they weren't slumlords, but they were renting to anyone to put heads in beds, and then finally got caught for the substandard living conditions that people were living in. So for my state and especially my city to be put on the map like that was just beyond me, right? It was an instance in when Aurora became this epicenter of something that it wasn't, and you know me that gets up every single day and works really really hard to provide good housing for residents and field those complaints that aren't legit all the time, for our state and my city to become the epicenter of something that was just absolutely not true, was insane. And then you had people, to your point, Wes, these were low income housing, and they've always been as long as I've been alive, right? And again, you have these investors that come in and get them at a good price and flip them, and occupancy goes down. So they got Nancy, that lives in 2A, that runs the apartment community and is letting everyone in, just to put heads in beds, just to make that mortgage, right? So I'm here to tell you that this is what I do for a living. This is how I feed my family, and this whatever was said about Colorado was absolutely not true. Like, yes, those were problem apartment communities, right? But to Aurora for some reason gets a bad rap. And you know what pisses me off the most is the people that are from Aurora will talk the most shit about Aurora because they moved out to Parker or wherever. Like, I remember you on the pole in high school. Like, don't forget where you came from, and don't.
Yeah,
I will never ever let anyone dog my city. This is who I am. This is who I. Yeah, I still live in Aurora,
yeah,
but I have to say that the political officials in Aurora do not play around. I mean, my house borders on Green Valley Ranch, right? And they actually sued. The city of Aurora sued Denver because of the sanctuary cities, and it was kind of bleeding into Southeast Aurora, which people will claim, right? But everything that was going on and being said was just wasn't at the magnitude of which it was presented nationwide. It was insane to me.
yeah, dude. And like, same, I mean, from Aurora, I love my city. I live in Centennial now. Centennial is a great place to live too, but Aurora's got a lot of beauty, man. Aurora's a really cool spot. That's my hometown, man. A lot of things amazing, fun times, great times in Aurora. And yeah, like I said, I try to think about everybody having that hometown, right? Like when you start saying shit about like, oh, the Haitians are eating people's pets and in Columbus or
Yeah.
whatever, like, those people that live there, like the vast majority of, I guarantee you, are probably like, oh, these people were like totally fine. I mean, like, why did this come about, right?
But
Like,
they did
so
say that though. They did say
that's
that.
that's what I mean. Like,
They were like, what is this all about? Like,
yeah,
this is not happening in when
yeah,
those are Haitian Americans, right? And they
yeah.
are being targeted. And then you have all of these, you know, I don't know, biker gangs coming and descending on our city, which they were stopped, but they were going into Columbus, and it was insanity. And the thing is, though, the thing that gets me is people eat this up. Like it's just lies and lies and lies, and I don't understand it. I don't think I'll ever understand it. Obviously, again, as we said, Trump is going to be our president for the next 4 years or beyond, no telling what he's about to do. So at some point, right? Like we have to, we got to either figure this out or because I refuse to get on the crazy train, Wes. I just can't do it. I
Well, and
personally
here's the
can't do
thing,
it.
right, guys? So like what we were referring to is that you have to really go through and start listening and paying attention, like we've talked about many times over, to good sources. Okay. It doesn't mean that like they can't be wrong ever. And it's like people, like again, not to get into those subjects, but like people go, oh my God, like the WHO was wrong about this, that. Dude, they're not gonna be right 100% of the
Right,
time. It's ridiculous. It's like having 100 firefighting captains outside of a home, and like 97 of them say we should do this, and three of them say we should do
right,
that. We're going to listen to the 97, and we should all the time. Now, take that same scenario and make it be 100, plumbers and 100 firefighters, and a house is on fire. And some of these cats are listening to the plumbers on
right,
how to put out a fire.
right,
That's ridiculous. So, in this exact scenario, we are allowing people like Blood Tribe, which we talked about, that Columbus, Ohio thing. They literally took responsibility for that. They're a neo-Nazi group. They laughed about it. They thought it was hilarious that they like started that whole narrative. Well, here we go. Here's another scenario, right? So we have some Venezuelan gang members who took a couple, right? A couple that lived in the same these apartment complexes over there, hostage, kind of like trying to hold them for ransom, probably get some documents because these were like people who were here undocumented, some Venezuelan gang members, and that made all of these people take that story and go, see, the stories way back in the
right,
summer were 100% correct. No, the
right.
stories in the summer were that they took over an entire apartment complex. And for those of you who might not know this reference, but don't act like these cats were Nino Brown in New Jack City and they took over the Carter and they were like standing outside with like
That's what they try
AR-15.
to make it out like, right?
That's my point. They took that whole like a couple anecdotal stories of, yes, do we have some undocumented people here? Yes, do we have gang members that are born here every day living in poverty? Yes, no shit. Do they do gang member things? Yes, no shit. So what I want to bring up was this one story. The good news is we got those 14 gang members, literally caught all of them. They're going to be sent back to Venezuela, and again, could they try to get back in here on, illegally at some point? Sure. But we now know faces,
Right.
identities, all that. We're going to have, mug shots, da 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 da. And this is the type of stuff that when the Democrats tried to pass a bill back last year, right, to have more judges at the borders, which then would allow literally to be processing people as they come in. I don't give a shit if we have 1,000 judges down there. I don't know why the right wing. Well, I do know because they want to have a
Well,
narrative,
you know why.
right? So
Yeah.
why not have 1,000 judges down there like a damn assembly line and put these people on polygraph tests and say, are you really like, have 10, 15 questions? Are you really seeking asylum? Are you involved in any drug cartels, gang member, blah, 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 right? All this crap. And if they fail that, we go, hey, sorry, you seem like you might be a good person, but you failed this polygraph. See you later. Good luck.
So
Right?
I'm wondering if the right really wants to fix the problem, right? Or was it more political? And again, I think that it's more political, right? Like they were like, let's not do anything about it. Let's gaslight the one or two issues. Let's blow it up. Our base will believe in it. And that's what
Well,
happened. But
I also think,
here's what I will
yeah,
say. I will say that there is a border crisis.
yeah,
I do think that the Biden administration didn't do enough, and I think
of
that was
course,
politically motivated.
100 agree,
You know
100%
what I
agree.
mean? And at the end of the day, we have to secure our border, but let's not gaslight our own country into saying that we have these hot spots of illegals and they're taking over. I loved your reference, the Nino Brown that
Yeah,
reference. I mean, that doesn't get any better than that, right?
yeah,
Like let's not make this out to be something that it isn't, because actually there are people that live in those apartment communities that were being harassed or
yeah, for sure.
just living their lives. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I,
And
I'm
so,
I'm sick of it. Like I'm sick of like living in this weird, like non-factual world where I have to sift through
yes.
to get the truth. You know what I
And
mean?
guys, this is why we're doing this podcast. So, right, like again, this is why sharing this with other people, sending our message out. If you want to come on and debate us about it, do that because I would love for somebody to come on who is like, oh, the problem is we just need to do this. Because I'm going to ask them this next question. That's what we're going to go to next, real quick, and then that'll be the end of today's show, guys. Because, like I said, we're going to be pumping out content, so we're going to try to stay on topic of what we're talking about. So, to those folks, whether you want to come on here or not, or you want to come on and talk shit in the comic section, okay, fine. This is the question I'll ask you: what is the cause of people leaving a place where all their family is? Many of these places are beautiful; they love it there, and traveling thousands of miles with virtually nothing, going to a foreign land, oftentimes doesn't speak the language that they speak, not the same cultures, right? Why would they do all that? Because what? And I know the Republicans are like, oh, well, America or UK or Germany or Spain or blah, 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 Canada has more financial options. And I go, yeah, why is that? And
Well,
and,
well,
and it's
well,
because we have caused these other countries, they're, and not just us, I'm saying like a lot of our European allies, Russia, China, all these powerful countries around the world, it's called imperialism, guys. It's called colonialism, right? So like we have gone around places, they did it here initially to barbarically to folks that look like my brother Kenny, right? They will exploit labor in any fucking piece of land on this planet. They don't give a F about whether it's called Australia, like Guatemala, America, they don't care. So if we stop looking at just the symptom and not the causation and start looking at these gigantic companies like we keep telling you guys that are going around and using labor around the planet and destroying their economies, then these people have no other choice but to flee where they're from and come somewhere else that's a better opportunity. Many of our ancestors, like the 98% of people that are in this country right now, maybe 95%, right? That's what happened. they fled places because of like similar situations, wars, economies collapsing, right? Or barbarically, they were taken from their lands and brought here as enslaved humans. And at this day and age, if people aren't recognizing, we all understand logically that enslaving a human is barbaric as it can get. Okay. But financial slavery is, again, nowhere close to enslaving a human, but it is another step of what these billionaires have been doing for the last 100+ years. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And it's only going to get worse until we hold their feet to the fire and stop talking about, these gang members here. What is the reason why they're even in Aurora, Colorado from Venezuela? Venezuela is a beautiful country. It's because we fucked up their country.
Another thing too is, America was built on the backs of immigrants, right? And it still is. So I say this: the people in the farmlands doing all that stuff. Do you think that an American's going to get out there and do it? They're going to want health care.
They don't have this light brown skin, I'll tell you that, folks.
They're gonna want all kinds of stuff. So now I'm pretty conservative when I talk about I want the border secured. I'm pretty conservative in that. But there has to be a better way. There has to be, and to your point, you asked the question, right? You asked the question, right, Wes? I'm so sick of conservatives that watch our podcast or listen to our podcast. Don't debate me via text. Come on this show, and say something about it. If you are, I just don't, for the life
of some huevos, man.
For the life of me, I always know when we release an episode, because I start getting a barrage of texts because a lot of my friends are conservative, and I'm just like, come debate me. Like, why? It's like, the conservative is like a keyboard warrior in my opinion. Like, I'm putting myself out there, you're putting yourself out there, Wes. Like, let's have a healthy debate about it. Don't, like, 5 minutes after I drop an episode, start texting me crazy. Like, I'm telling you guys to get on with us, and let's see what we can talk about. And maybe we may agree, and maybe we may not agree.
The reality is
what it is.
Don't we want to fix the problem, right? Like, the reality is, what if there's some really good, hardworking folks in some of these other countries who want to come here legitimately, and if we have judges that can, in the north, the south, right, all of, like, Florida, New York, all these different hotspots, right? Obviously, the southern border. If we have judges all through there where they can literally come in and just have, a whole ass building where it's like, hey, come in here, it's secured, there's cops, you are literally gonna wait, and it could be a couple hours. It could be half a damn day. You might even have to sleep on the ground in the building. Okay, fine. It'll be a shelter over your head. We'll give you water, a little bit of grub, some food, and then you're going to take a polygraph on why you're here. Da 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 da. And if they're good, honest, working people, then dude, let them start paying taxes. Give them a path to citizenship. We need good, hardworking people. That's what this country was built on, And furthermore, then while we're also doing that, right, make sure that these companies are not allowed to go to other countries and exploit their labor. And I bet you'll see the immigration, if we do that, plummet, because these people don't want to have to leave their family, their friends, their homeland. They're not trying to do that. They're doing it out of necessity. Now, some of them are, hey man, I just like Colorado. I like the mountains. I want to ski. I want to snow, whatever the hell it might be. Cool, dude. Awesome. Some people might say, I want to go to a beach in West Florida. I'm from a place that has no beaches. Cool. Awesome, dude. There's nothing wrong with that. But if they're fleeing an area because it's been destroyed by gigantic businesses, international companies, we need to stop that. And that'll stop the large influx of folks who don't want to leave. And then those who do want to leave and like, hey, like I said, want to live somewhere different from where they currently started, then cool, let's see if they're a good option. Let's vet them a little bit. But it's like one side's like, oh, let's not let anybody in. And then it's like, and kick everybody out who's been cool, dude. When the farmers start losing all, like you said, all their workers picking those strawberries, you'll find out real quick how all of a sudden they go, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. I didn't know you meant like so and so. I didn't know you meant my. I didn't know you meant
I
that
thought you
person
thought
you're
it was.
taking.
I thought you meant the Venezuelan apartment
Yeah,
takeovers.
the
Yeah,
the the couple thousand people who might be here that are bad hombres, as they say, versus the several million who are here who are
yeah,
good hombres.
yeah.
They're taking like the 1% of the people here, if even that, who got here, undocumented and lied and blah blah blah, whatever the case, and they're applying that to the 99 other percent who are not those people. It's
Right,
no different than this country here, dude. Undocumented people commit crimes at a lesser rate per capita than naturally born citizens.
right,
Why? Because they don't want to get deported. So
right.
they're literally trying to work and grind. Like, dude, just tax the goods we buy
You know
and
what's so
ding.
crazy though? You know what's so crazy to me is those immigrants that became legal citizens are so conservative now. It is so crazy. Oh my
I
God.
think we know what it is. It's the men. I mean, I'm just telling you guys, that's the men of a lot of these men in other cultures, even here still, but there's a lot of cultures around the world where men still, we've talked about this before, guys, but not the subject of this particular podcast, but where they've, they still view women as below them. And
Yeah,
it's an unfortunate thing,
and
but
you know what though, they're probably like, hey man, I worked my ass off to be legal. Like you can't just come over here and have what I have. And I
yeah,
get that, I understand that. But
yeah, I do too,
anyways,
man.
guys,
Yeah,
we could go on and on about this.
yep. We'll have
But
another,
again, to Wes's point,
yep.
answer the question. If you want to come on and speak about it, you know where to
Yeah.
find us. We're going to be pumping these out a lot.
I'll put a great article. We'll put the article about the Venezuelan stuff that just happened like a week and a half ago. I'll put the articles in the description about the stuff over the summer that had the mayor, the judges, da da da, and all their official statements saying that they were taking over the Carter, like Nino Brown. And then I'll also put a really good article in there from it's from Harvard. It's a Harvard article, which again, guys, these are good sources. Stop going to IHateLiberals.com or IHateConservatives.com and think you're getting good information. This is an article out of a Harvard study it talks all about what's to blame and kind of who's to blame of the Venezuelan economic collapse. So these are the kind of things you guys should read. And I know they take 4 or 5 minutes, 10 minutes to read, but guess what? That's called becoming a smarter person. Stop being a lazy idiot, dude. Stop being like somebody who wants to like talk about something and you've done not even 8 minutes of research on it. You clicked on one channel and you let them feed you their narrative. Oh,
They
let the
clicked on
billionaires tell me what to do
they
and how to
clicked on the
vote.
Russian propaganda.
Dude, like the billionaires told me this. I bet you the billionaires have my best interest in mind.
Yeah,
You are too stupid to insult if you think the billionaire ran networks or billionaire funded YouTube channels are giving you good information about what's the best for the working class guy or gal. Come on, man. These are people who would like cut your kid's throat if it made their stocks go up 1%.
there you
Stop
go.
going to those sources. They
Stop
are
going to
only
those
going
sources.
to literally in your peach, bro.
All
It's
right.
like,
Well, this is a
pay
family
attention.
show, Wesley.
Yeah, much
Follow
love.
us on Unfiltered Idiots podcast on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. We love you guys. Have a great Christmas. And we'll see you soon. Peace.
Much love. Peace, peace, peace. Unfiltered idiots.